It is the final day of the spoilers for the future characters and fighters for Arsenal LCG. How you doing? Apologies for not putting out any videos for a little while, and I apologize for pretty much the holidays. There's not much that I can say about that, but today is the day that I will be announcing the 9 new fighters. Their names as well as their artwork will be featured in this video, and I will go over the last abilities of each of the cards. These are still technically in beta, but this is kind of the end of that beta, and we'll see what happens. Okay, but without further ado, let's move on to the first of our 9 new characters. As per tradition, I have 3 of the Voci, which are the mammal-based animal-human hybrids. I have 3 of the Avens, which are the bird-based animal-human hybrids. And I also have 3 of the Dross, which are the reptile human hybrids. So, without further ado, let's move on to Brower. So this is Brower. Brower is our Axe, Martial, and Charge and Finisher user, and he has Bulwark and Nature's Gift, but his final ability is a brand new ability. Each of these new characters will have a brand new ability listed on them, which his is Ghostly Guard. At the end of combat where you blocked, you can target up to 2 weapon cards in your discard pile and exchange those cards with face-up weapon cards of the same tier. Now, this is worded in a way that may be changed. We're going to do some final rounds to see if we can figure out a better way to type it out, but pretty much what this means is that for 10 charge at the end of combat, you're able to exchange from your discard pile 2 cards that you currently have face up in your combo, and this can drastically change things. This is one of only 2 ways in the game currently that you are able to change the chances of a straight potentially happening, and it happens at the end of combat provided that you have stuff in your discard pile. This is a very technical level card that you have to practice and set up your deck properly in order to use to the best capability, but Brower is an insanely powerful armadillo with a giant axe. So moving past Brower, we're going to move to Elsnisp. So Elsnisp is our gem user and the first of our Aven, and he is modeled off of a bird of paradise. So if he looks a little strange, that's why. And he is the first of the attempts that I am making to make gems a slightly more competitive style of card, which his final ability for 6 charge is Treasure Chest, which is at the end of combat where you blocked. For each gem you use to block, add 2 block to your total. So this means that you can pay a straight charge to enable him to get a bonus of 2 and pretty much turn all your gems that you played in your combo into shields, which is pretty awesome, at least basic bucklers. So, and it's a very low-costed ability because we found out over time that gem users tend to have a harder time establishing charge. But that is Elsnisp. Next, we have Liga. So Liga is the axe user for the Dross, and she has Memory and Warcry, uses axes, gauntlets, heals, and flurries, and her final ability for 8 charge is Genesis, which is, before combat, you can shuffle all cards in your discard pile and hand into your deck, then draw the same number of cards shuffled from your hand through this effect. So this effectively lets you reset everything in your discard pile back into your deck, and lets you reset your entire hand. Anybody that has played with heals before is very aware that you want to get them out of your hand as efficiently as possible, and you also want them out of your discard pile if you're worried that you're going to get hit. So what Liga does is she lets you be able to establish all that ahead of time. You can even prep this with Memory to be able to try to draw into things, and if things fail, you can Genesis to get your way out of it. So again, this is a very powerful ability, and we'll see where it goes. Next up is our Aven with the staff, and that's Outbay. And Outbay is the next of our gem users. Actually, all 3 Avens got the gems. And this one has Gem Healer, which we've already been over in a previous video, and we have Warcry. But this is also our Staff, Gauntlet, Driver, and Gem User. And the final one is Treasure Chest. So for Treasure Curse, sorry. So for 6 charge, at the end of combat where you attacked, for each gem card used to attack, add 2 to your total damage. So what that means is it's the effective backwards effect of Nos from earlier, where she is able to boost her own power. And yes, I'm aware that typically men or male peacocks are the bright, colorful ones, but in this particular universe, the females actually are blue. So that is a thing that I've done for this. Either way, next up we have Fleur. So Fleur is our Dross, and is modeled off the frilled lizard, and has the staff, martial, heal, and flurry combination, and holds Warcry and expertise, but finally for 8 has Future Sight. This ability states that before combat you can draw 7 cards, discard 4 cards, and then shuffle 3 cards into your deck. So effectively this is a more accelerated and faster version of Genesis, but it does not reset everything as Genesis does. It only gives you 7 cards technically of selection. So say your hand is 7 cards, you draw up to 14, and then discard 4 and shuffle 3 back. So you can do very efficient plays with this. This can also let you essentially look at the next 7 cards and pick and choose which ones you want to use to establish your combo. Next up we have Srags. Srags is our staff, shield, charge, and finisher user, and has Flourish, Sharpened, and Cascade. Cascade is an ability that says before combat, you can use it, and then during the next combat, whenever a player plays a card in a zone, they may play 1 additional card with the same name in that same zone. So you effectively have to stack these like drivers. And what that means is that every time that you would play, say, something like a quarterstaff, you can stack another quarterstaff on top to not only play 2 cards to draw an extra card after your attack, but also it stacks their damage and you apply the topmost spirit number. So this enables you to rapidly accelerate through your deck. The only drawback of this ability is that you have to build your deck to have similar named cards, as in cards have to be the exact same name when you'd like to play them in the Cascade effect, which means the opponent also has that benefit. So if the opponent has prepared their deck for this particular fighter, you could run into a much more defensive player. However, they also must match names. Moving on, we have Naifot. So Naifot is the sword, martial, heal, and finisher user that has Flourish and Expertise and Spirit Break. Spirit Break costs 8 charge and says during combat, if you match 3 of your opponent's spirit numbers, turn the first face-up card your opponent played face down. Effectively, what this does is it can completely annihilate your opponent's combo, and it can also remove the first card of damage that the opponent plays. So if your opponent is attempting to go for the final straight, as in going 1 to 9, Naifot can remove that from the table and make it completely obsolete. He also has the ability to pretty much break down damage. So if your opponent starts with an early Gladius or something that has high power, he can effectively not only protect himself, but also remove your opponent from having any spirit combo whatsoever by turning their cards face down. Next we have Eprid. Eprid is the sword, shield, charge, and finisher user. And he has Oath of Blood, as well as Sharpened, and Grave Strike. Effectively, the opposite of our Armadillo friend from earlier. Grave Strike says that at the end of combat where you attacked, you can target up to 2 weapon cards in your discard pile and exchange those cards with face-up weapon cards of the same tier. So this is another way to be able to manipulate your combo and effectively produce a straight out of nowhere. That is pretty much the end of it when it comes to our 9 new fighters. The plan at this time is to hopefully be able to get some decks produced by TCG Con in January. If they are not eligible to be produced by that time, then we will have them for the next convention. If anything, I will attempt to have a few of these available at TCG Con to be able to test with, but these 9 new fighters will be adding to the gameplay, giving us 9 brand new ultimate level abilities, 9 brand new color combinations in terms of our characters, and 9 brand new ways to play. And all of these can still be done with the same 12 colors that have already existed in the game. No new weapons have been added at this time, though we are prototyping some new weapons for the game itself. I will also state that the 3 new weapon types for those that have not been able to be in attendance at any conventions are as follows: bows and arrows, tomes, as well as polearms. Those will be the 3 new weapon types that will be added eventually, but they have not been set in stone and they have not been produced fully yet. I figured that making new characters and new fighters to give people new options would potentially be a better way to approach expansions at this time. Anyway, I hope that this video is at least a bit informative for anybody that is interested in Arsenal LCG. I can't wait to see you guys at the convention in January, and I hope that you are ready to choose your fighter, choose your weapon, and have a good time. Thank you very much for your time, and have a good day. Bye-bye.